Hello everyone, hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we are going to be looking at another franchise that I'm sure many of you are familiar with, and for a lot of you I'm sure gives heavy nostalgia. For me, it was my first time watching them, but I had a fantastic time. Of course, I'm talking about the Rush Hour films. I'm looking forward to diving into each film here, but I just wanted to briefly talk about something I will not be diving into, and that's the Rush Hour TV series. I mean, I don't even know if many people know about this series, but it looks ass, dude. I can't even find much of anything online about it, and it got cancelled after one season and a bunch of horrible reviews. I did find a few clips online, and good god, I can see why it was cancelled. It looks like they took everything good about the franchise and just said screw it, at least it has the Rush Hour name. Lee and Carter really can't be replaced. I mean, Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker are what make the movies work, so you replace them and you're just left with a generic buddy cop show. Not to mention the action. Oh my god, the action is horrible. It's by far one of the strong suits of the film, but here, I think it's just better I show you. Take a scene from Rush Hour 1. It's great, smooth, and it's just cohesive, creative action. Then, you compare that to the series. Dog, look how many cuts there are in this short clip. Like, this scene actually, I couldn't believe it was real. Anyways, it looks god-awful, and I don't like to rate stuff before I watch it, but this looks like a guaranteed dumpster fire. Send it to hell. Onto the good stuff though, let's dive into the films. We're starting at the beginning. We're going back to 1998 with Rush Hour 1. This was great, and my favorite out of the trilogy. As someone who's never seen the films, it was much a surprise to me, and I think that added to my enjoyment of the films as a lot of the jokes caught me off guard. The movie for sure was a product of the time, as the comedy is heavily centered around stereotyping and the two main stars poking fun at each other. The film wouldn't work without Jackie Chan or Chris Tucker. Their comedic timing is wonderful, and I could honestly watch them argue all day.
My daddy saved 5 crackheads from a burning building by himself.
My daddy once caught a bullet with his bare hands.
My daddy would kick your daddy's ass all the way from here to China, Japan, wherever the hell you from, and all up that Great Wall,
Hey,
too.
don't talk about my father.
Don't talk about my daddy.
The film begins with a dope-ass action sequence at the docks. We're introduced to Detective Inspector Lee as he leads a raid on our main antagonist of the series, the Triads. More importantly, he was aiming to find unidentified crime boss Juntao. Unfortunately, he had no success in doing so, but he was able to recover numerous Chinese artifacts and bring back good news. We also meet his boss, Chinese Consul Han, as well as British Police Commander Thomas Griffin. I had a feeling this dude was evil from the moment I saw him. I mean, just look at him. We transition over to the USA, where we are introduced to LAPD detective James Carter, who, let's just say, is not the most sound detective in the world. This, through and through, is Chris Tucker's movie. He is incredibly charismatic and his comedic timing is brilliant. For sure a standout of the film and definitely the reason this movie works so well.
That's just not a cigarette, man.
This cig of weed!
Well, it looking like a cigarette.
You better have glaucoma.
I do.
So then the plot kicks off. Consul Han and his family move to LA as he's taking on a new diplomatic post there. Things seem good until one day his daughter is kidnapped on the way to school. The FBI takes control of the case and Consul Han wants someone he can personally trust there too. So he calls up Detective Inspector Lee to assist on the case. However, the FBI isn't particularly fond of having Lee on the case, and they call the LAPD, who, by the way, they seemingly do like nothing all day.
Serious, Captain, I ain't playing. You need to call the FBI and tell them you made a mistake.
I can't do that, Carter. I'm sure that you and Mr. Lee will have a nice time together.
The chief at the LAPD sends Carter to aid the FBI, only Carter doesn't realize he's basically being sent to babysit Lee and keep him away from the investigation. From here on, the film is pure entertainment as the duo gets accustomed to each other. I mean, from what I read, there was quite a language barrier between the actors, especially during the first film, but their on-screen chemistry was excellent.
I like to let people talk who like to talk. It makes it easier to find out how full of shit they are.
What the hell did you just say?
So the rest of the plot plays out like this. Carter realizes what the case is and decides he's gonna solve it out of spite. So him and Lee start working together to investigate. Carter accidentally answers a ransom call and displays peak negotiating.
The amount will be $50 million.
$50 million? And who you think you kidnapped, Chelsea Clinton?
Then, the majority of the film is Lee and Carter chasing leads and trying to get to the bottom of the case, while simultaneously trying to coexist and learning to be partners. There's a lot of wild shit that happens during their adventures, like the infamous Jackie Chan line.
What's up, my nigga?
Or one of my personal favorite jokes, the fake identity.
Hey, you take my ID. If anything go wrong, you bust in like your LAPD.
This won't work. I'm not 6'1".
It's a lot of fun, and then when we get to the climax, we learn Juntao is actually the British police commander. That's right, the big bad is the old white dude we met at the start, who is obviously evil. We then get an awesome action sequence involving bomb defusing, saving priceless artifacts, dangling from the rafters, and also one of the coldest lines in a movie I have ever seen.
Wipe yourself off, man. You dead.
Rush Hour 1 slapped. It's an all-time buddy cop movie with a great duo, amazing comedy, and creative action. You can't ask for much more from a movie of the genre. It's entertaining through and through, and I would recommend it to anyone just trying to sit back and have a fun movie experience. 7.5 rushed hours out of 10. On to Rush Hour 2.
To the four stops, don't stop till you get enough. Keep on to the 4 stars, don't stop till you get enough. Keep on.
The sequel that I've seen in high regards online as better than the original, and while I do very much enjoy it, I still prefer the first. I'd say Rush Hour 2 is about on par though. Delivers on a lot of the same notes, we get more action, more of the duo, and more good comedic moments. These two films coincide each other and can be watched back to back perfectly. We pick up right where we left off in the first. Lee and Carter are heading to Hong Kong for a vacation, and as Lee told Carter in the last film,
We can hang in my crib. I will show you my hood.
Now you can show me a couple of them Chinese girls. When I get over there, I want a massage. I'm gonna get buck wild.
although things aren't as fun as they originally set out to be, as another case comes up and the duo has to cut their vacation short. There's been bombings, and apparently Ricky Tan, the former partner of Lee's late father, is somehow involved. He's believed to be a leader of the Triads now. Obviously, Lee is very invested in the case upon hearing this news, so we follow the duo as they try to investigate another big mystery. A story with a lot of fake-outs and craziness. We have multiple presumed deaths, including Carter and Ricky Tan himself. Insane action, which might be even better than the first. Like, goddamn, that bamboo tower scene was dope as hell. There's a lot of great moments with the duo as they're more cohesive in this film, really showing how their friendship has grown. They even got tag team moves and celebrations, baby. They start to learn about the underlying money laundering scheme due to Carter's impressive deduction skills.
When the shooting started, he was way too cool. And I'm gonna tell you something, when people start shooting, white people ain't that cool.
The scheme involves using an extremely rare money printer that makes super bills, basically high quality counterfeit money. It was also interesting researching this movie because apparently these prop bills were so well made, when they did the climax to the film and the money flew all over, some of the extras grabbed some of the fake money and tried to illegally spend it, which led to all the fake money being confiscated and destroyed by the United States Secret Services. Anyways, the gang tracks his lead, meeting with Kung Fu Kenny, and I was like, oh shit, that's Don Cheadle. Kenny runs a gambling den and they figure out one of the clients is the rich old white dude using his counterfeits. They go to further follow the lead, but get kidnapped by the Triads. They escape only to realize they're in Vegas, baby! They also realize through name connection that the rich old white dude is laundering money through his new casino. Of course, Lee and Carter can't just walk into the casino looking like any old scrub with a suit, so they gotta get some new fits to take on Vegas.
I'm gonna need black, 42 long, and nothing touches this body but pure silk. And get my partner something from the kids department.
Now we're at the climax of the film. While Carter is off making a distraction so Lee can slip past security, Lee gets captured. He learns Ricky Tan is still alive and leading the operation. We get a very intense and fun action sequence involving Lee having a bomb taped inside his mouth as he scrambles to stop others from detonating it. Carter kicks ass, Lee kicks ass, everyone kicks ass, man. The dude gets clapped, and then we learn the big reveal that Lee's father didn't just die trying to expose his partner Ricky Tan, but Ricky Tan himself killed Lee's father. Lee then saves Carter, kicking Tan out the window and sending him to his death, and then the duo ziplines their way out of danger behind a fiery backdrop. The movie ends with Carter and Lee going to New York to spend some money Carter won gambling. Dope movie, man, just like the first. The only real issue I had was the villain plot. It just wasn't quite as fun as the first, but it was still enjoyable though. 7 hours in traffic out of 10, on to the third installment.
Anime bitches, I look at her titties, then I take her home and we count up these 50s. I come to your city, I sneak in your chimney, I tickle her kidney, and then I watch Disney. I love me some hentai, I go on X videos, bitch I'm debasting my
Unfortunately, the fun had to come to an end at some point, and that happened to be Rush Hour 3. Interestingly enough, I think one of the biggest issues with the film is the larger time gap in between the second and third installments. This film coming out 6 years after the second and being released in 2007, it really felt more of a generic mid-2000s action movie, taking away a lot of the fun charm of the late 90s, early 2000s feel to the first two. As well as that, a lot of the movie just felt uninspired and kind of thrown together, almost as if they were making a third one just for the success at the box office. The action takes a huge step down, although it's still creative, it just loses some of that smoothness from the 90s Jackie Chan sequences, now filled with a lot more cuts and random moments. The comedy as well just didn't hit the same, as the duo I feel didn't get a ton of quality time to work off each other. Oh well though, that's not to say others won't still get enjoyment out of this film, as it still has some good elements reminiscent of the other parts of the series, and at the end of the day, it's meant to be an action comedy movie to have fun with. That's just my personal thoughts on the overall of the movie, but let's jump into the plot. The triads continue to be a persistent problem in this film. This time we follow the mystery surrounding an individual named Shai Shen, who some believe to be just a myth. We are reintroduced to Consul Han and also his daughter, who is now all grown up. During a meeting, Consul Han is shot down. Don't worry though, he survives, as we'll come to learn later. Lee chases down the sniper and catches up with him, only to let him go, showing he has some sort of connection to the assailant. The duo are now on the case and continue to investigate. We have some wacky moments like Carter fighting a kung fu giant, or having a French-speaking nun translate an interrogation for them.
Sister, turn your back. You don't want to see this. Who is Shai Shen and how do we find him? Tell us right now. I'll cut your beads off and shove them in your mouth.
His beads?
His beads, sister. His hairy, stinking beads.
The plot then has the duo go to Paris to continue their investigation, considering the people they were fighting spoke French, and also there was an attempted assassination on the French ambassador. So off to France we go. We meet some interesting side characters like stage performer Genevieve, who helps them with their investigation, and also this dude, who is their cab driver and kinda psychotic.
Please! I'm begging you, let me be your driver! Let me kill someone tonight!
We then get multiple plot twists. We learn that the dude who Lee let go at the beginning is actually his brother. We also learn that this old white dude is bad because he's gotta be. Just look at him. And finally, we learn that the mythical person Shai Shen is not actually a person, but rather a list detailing the names of the triad leaders. Only it's not a physical list, but rather it's a list tattooed on the back of the head of Genevieve, and she'll be beheaded after this? What?
When our journey ended and the new leaders were informed, the woman would be beheaded and buried forever.
Dog, I was in shock when I was watching this, like, god damn, that took a turn. Let's get to the end though. Sue Young, the little girl from Rush Hour 1, is once again kidnapped in a ploy to swap for Genevieve. The climax takes place on the Eiffel Tower. Lee and Carter show up, with Carter dressed as Genevieve, and the action kicks off. This scene was actually pretty fun and probably the best part of the film. We get some cool sword fighting and creative action sequences. Lee's brother falls to his death, the old white dude gets blasted by the crazy cab driver, and that's the movie. Bada boom bada bing, 3 out of 10, not enough rush, too much hour. My final thoughts on the Rush Hour franchise as a whole are pretty positive. I can absolutely see why so many people regard this in high standards, especially on a nostalgia level. If I remembered these movies from when I was younger, I would have had so much more love for them. There's so much exciting action, and how can you not love the chemistry between Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan? Although I wasn't the biggest fan of the third one, there's still a lot to love in the first two, and I would watch them back to back. They smoothly transition into one another and just make for a fun 3-hour movie. Am I excited for a possible 4th installment? Sorta, not really. I think the best parts of the franchise come from the charming stylization of the era it came out in. The action, set design, comedy, all of it really added to the enjoyment of the film. I have trouble seeing the 4th one stand out from all the other action in today's cinema, but with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, it could always be fun, so I will absolutely be watching if it happens. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the dive into the Rush Hour series. If you're someone who has fond memories of it, or maybe you're just getting into the series, I would love to hear your thoughts and perspective on the films, and let me know your favorite parts. There was a lot of amazing, funny moments I did not include, so I implore you to watch it for yourself, but I'll leave you with some of my favorite moments. Much love, peace.
I'm no punk bitch.
I ain't no punk bitch neither.
I'm no punk bitch.
Yeah, right. When Godzilla's coming, y'all be tripping. I seen the movie. You be Gayaka, Gayaka. I ain't never been to China, but I bet you probably look like this, don't it? I'll be right back. You might see one of your cousins walking around here. I'll be right back.